So I wanted to show you something here. It's a work in progress. I'm not entirely happy with it, but it goes into our idea here of iterative design. So as a designer, I'm looking at this. I see I definitely want to make some changes to it. So I will keep playing with it, but I wanted to show you kind of the steps and some of the stuff I was doing with it. So not only is in the sort of idea of iteration do I go through different cycles that I keep sort of improving and adding things to it, but within the project itself there's this idea of gradual change over time. So here I have a series, I have two arcs. I have a small arc kind of in the middle and I have a larger arc around it, and essentially they're just rotating around each other. The motivation was a little bit like a clock, so I wanted the inner arc to move slower and the outer arc to move faster, in a sense to tell time. And I wanted it to change opacity over time as well. So it kind of starts off with minimal opacity. It kind of rotates itself until we get to full opacity down here. So it gradually changes over time or space. So in a way, it's an iterative process of building this, but it's also an iterative design itself, is that it changes. So here it's just the same thing. It's just grids. You're kind of getting familiar with this now of how I build mine with the sort of grid spacing and using those within the for loops themselves. And then I just have a beginning. When you're doing rotation, if you've looked at this, having it in radians, so I'm just converting some values into radians here. I have a beginning and a beginning 2. These aren't probably the best variable names, but as a sketch it's kind of getting me going. And I'm just rotating. So where do I want the arc to start rotating? Where do I want it to end rotating? And so that's why I kind of have these beginning ends for the different arcs, as you see here. And I'm placing them and I'm making them at different sizes. So they're all being placed sort of centrally, and then I'm just making the different sizes. I'm updating. This is an old variable I was using for something else, but I'm using this as the update to the fill value, because essentially in this loop itself I'm adding, my beginning is getting an update of degrees based upon the loop, and so it's moving that way. So I just needed the one rotation variable for that. So I was just using the secondary one just to update the fill values. You'll see it right there. So in a way I've taken off the stroke. It is what it is. It's giving me a chance to see what things look like. Again, I'm probably going to go back and make some changes, but just wanted to see again that here we are making a pattern in a sense, and going from there.